Hi everyone, hello from Anglo-American University. My name is Yeta Sahachia. I'm the admissions director here at the AAU. Allow me just to extend a warm welcome to the webinar and thank you for logging in and joining in our session. Let's just give it a few more minutes so that everyone else who actually registered for the webinar could get a chance to log in and follow the presentation. Once we have everyone here, we will get started. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Hi, hello once again. Thank you again for joining the session. Just a little bit of an idea. So this presentation is actually designed to answer all of the questions that you might have during the session. Therefore, while we encourage you to use the Q&A feature, please be a little bit patient and we will get to the points. We will have two sessions that are actually basically will cover two Q&A sessions where Clea and I will be answering your questions live. Therefore, any of the questions that you are actually typing, we will take for the answers. Just a quick presentation. Basically, this presentation is designed to give you an overview now that you are actually an admitted student. It will walk you through the student life. It will walk you through the next steps that you actually have to take as an admitted student, and the special attention will be placed on the COVID-19 update situation and the plan for the fall 2021 semester. Before we head on into the actual presentation, also allow and give me 1 minute to actually congratulate you on this achievement on being admitted to AAU. We all congratulate you and we look forward to meeting you all in campus in September. Today, I'm not alone, actually. I have a team of 4 people, actually. So I'm Yeta, I'm from the admissions office, but with me is also Clea, the admissions counselor, whom you've actually spoken a lot through emails during your process of admission, and might as well have met her in campus. I see a lot of familiar names here today. We have Natalie. Natalie has actually just recently joined our team at the admissions office. Natalie will be your contact point as well from now on. And we have Lucia from the Student Services, specifically Housing Office. Therefore, once we reach the section for housing, Lucia will be assisting Clea and I to actually answer any questions that you might have related to housing. Just a little bit, during this presentation, Clea and I will be walking you through it. And again, we recommend using the Q&A feature. A little bit of the agenda, we will cover a little bit of information about Prague, an overview, student life, talking about the events that we organize at AAU, the resources that are available to you, and the clubs. Also, we would talk about the important COVID-19 information as well, and next steps that you have to take as a student. Once again, I just cannot stress enough, we do encourage you to use the Q&A session and feature, but there will be mid-presentation, we will stop actually 3 times. Once we finish the section about the Prague and student life, which also includes tuition and housing, we will switch our cameras on, we will stop sharing the screen, and we'll take any questions that you have related to those topics that were covered. We'll once go back to actually talking about the COVID-19, about the updates that we have for the fall 20. Once we cover that section, we will again stop sharing our screen and get back with you and answer any questions that you might have live. And then we will have a wrap-up session where we could answer anything else that was left unanswered. For each session, we will allocate 10 minutes so that all of the questions are actually answered. So just to give you an idea about Prague and an overview of the city and what AAU actually has to offer, I would pass it to Clea. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Clea here. It is so good to see so many names that I actually know and I talk to you. So welcome to this presentation and let's dive straight into it. Let's start by talking about the city we're located in right now, which is Prague, the capital of Czech Republic. For those of you who do not know, Prague is also known as City of Hundreds of Spires, as well as Golden City. And it is magical metropole, rather small and well-organized European capital that gives you what makes big city attractive. The Czech Republic is known as Heart of Europe, not just by its shape, but also by its position. It is very well connected with the rest of Europe, yet at the same time, very affordable. So from our personal experience, we can all say that, you know, traveling to Vienna or traveling to, which is a popular destination, or Germany, it takes you only a couple of hours, whether you go by car or another popular way is by train. You can, of course, when it's a little bit further, like Spain or UK, you can fly in and the flights are not that expensive. So wherever you need to go within Europe, it is very good positioning to be in Czech Republic because everything is close. So now to go on to why Prague. Prague is one of the top 10 student cities in the world. It is the very first university ever founded. So the first university in Europe, in Central Europe, was founded in Prague in 1348. And since then, Prague has remained a very student-focused city. We also have the 5th best public transportation in the entire world. It is very cheap, quick, reliable, and safe. And you can get anywhere you want to metro, bus, or tram at any time at day or night. Confirming myself, I can tell you that if you choose walking or metro, depending on how far you have to go, you will be there within 15 to 30 minutes. So it is very well connected and it works to your advantage. Currently, the Czech Republic has the lowest unemployment rate within the European Union. There are a lot of job opportunities available, especially here in Prague, and especially for English speakers such as you. Next one is that we are the 6th safest city in the world. We all feel comfortable walking around without a problem. The crime rate is very low and most areas are safe to walk around even during the night. Prague, as already mentioned, is incredibly affordable. There is a lot of beautiful international cities that unfortunately are not attainable beyond a couple of days. However, Prague is not one of those. Just for comparison for you, you can get a steak dinner for $8, go to museum for $6, or travel to other European destinations for very cheap prices, as I have already mentioned. No matter what you want to do here, you can do it, and it's always going to be on a budget. So now to continue to our campus. Our campus is located right next to Charles Bridge, and it is steps away from Prague Castle in beautifully restored Turn Taxis Palace here in Prague Historic District. You can actually see the castle while you're walking towards the building, and you can see also the castle from the 4th floor of our building. Most of our classrooms have been restored with help of historic preservationists, as the building is very, very old. The premises have 17 fully equipped modern classrooms, student lounge with gaming room, and cafeteria run by our friendly Irishmen, Bill and Kieran. And the cafe that they run is usually very packed, especially during the exam week or during the breaks between the classes. There is also a computer lab, which students have access to, as well as the library. And our library actually houses the largest English book collection a university has in Prague. The back door of campus leads to beautiful Vojanovi Study Park, where our students can relax between classes. And the park is populated with friendly ducks and peacocks that regularly visit our campus courtyard, and students often take pictures with. AAU was founded in 1990, and as a matter of fact, this year we're celebrating our 30th anniversary, and it is also one of the oldest private universities in the Czech Republic. So to continue to the key facts. The key facts that we have are that AAU holds both Czech and American accreditation by WASC Senior College and University Commission. WASC accreditation is actually a North American accreditation based in California. So what this means for you is that you will be getting accreditation from both North America and from Europe by having the Czech accreditation. So that for you means that you can work in Europe with your degree and also apply it in North America. We currently have students from over 80 different countries. Therefore, we are ideal for you to meet new people from different cultures and with different backgrounds. Our theory is blended with practice, meaning that if you take business classes, for example, you will have to work with case studies. The same principle applies to different programs we offer at AAU. Throughout the semester, you will be engaging in group projects, and there will be studying outside of classrooms. For example, sometimes the professor takes students out to the park, which is behind our campus, and they have class in there if it's possible, or they take some field trips, etc. Not always will you be bound to being in the classroom all the time. We offer small classes and class sizes, so there will be 15 to 20 students per class. This helps us with personalized approach and interactive learning. We, as you might already know, are not a big university, and we are very proud of it. We treat you, our students, as family members. Our staff know our students' names. Apologies. Our students' names, and we constantly try to engage with our students whenever there's an opportunity to do so.
Thank you, Clea, for this overview of Prague as well as the AAU campus. I will continue on just to give you an overview of what student life actually at AAU looks like, as well as what resources are actually available to you as a student for your use during your time at AAU starting as of September. First of all, during your time at AAU, you'll have an array of resources which will be available to you at all times. With the Academic Tutoring Center, for example, it's a center that it's designed to assist students with the academic writing. For example, if you have research techniques class and you want to expand your vocabulary as well as work on the citations, for example, depending on what type of citation you're using, you could always ask for help in the Academic Tutoring Center. Sessions are typically 30 minutes long. However, you can always book it for longer depending on the needs that you have. All sessions are actually held in the library building, so it's very close to the campus, so you don't have to go anywhere else, and it's very logistically easy. But also the sessions, the sessions are held by the students who are top students actually and professors, so you'd have access to great resources. Another great resource that actually students make most of it, it's the Career Center. Career Center is going to help you how to figure out how to get a job. Now, within the Career Center, there are every week technically organized professional development workshops, which actually are designed to help you prepare for example, for an interview. They will help you how to talk with your hands during an interview, how to dress during the interview, how to build your LinkedIn profile, or even how to write a CV. So currently we have over 80 internship providers from which you could choose to complete your internship. As you've been informed during your admission process, the internship is actually a 3-credit course to AAU, and it's a required course for you to graduate during your studies. Therefore, what happens in reality is that a lot of students actually, once they complete their internship, they end up with a job offer. So it's a great way actually to enter the labor market. Lennon Wall and the Soundsbreak Radio. While Lennon Wall and the Soundsbreak Radio are very targeted for the journalism and visual arts students, they are available to the whole AAU community. So everyone who's interested in writing as well as in radio programs will have access to those resources. Lennon Wall is a student magazine, and it's both online and print publication. It actually, the first print came out in the 2000s, and since then it's completely run by students. When it comes to the printing, it's actually printed once per semester. However, online, it's updated weekly. Therefore, if you're interested, you can always look it up and find the information there. Soundsbreaks, on the other hand, broadcast 24 hours, and again, programming, as with the magazine, it's completely done and produced by the students. Student services. So student services office is actually located on the ground floor. So as soon as you enter AAU, next to the reception building, and it's with my colleagues who actually are going to assist you with the registration process, with issuing official documents and forms. So for example, if you need a study confirmation, if you need your Isaac card, like the student card, or if you need information about graduation, that's the place where actually you'll go. You'll find there Jana and Josef. Both are very helpful in orienting students and will guide you through anything that you need during your time at AAU. One hidden gem of here is also the making appointments for the extension of the visa. So to make the appointment to extend your visa, you either need basic check or you could actually ask Josef and Jana for help. They will make the appointment on your behalf, and you just have to show up actually at the office where you extend the visa. Another great resource is also the Psychological Counseling Center. It's actually available for free to all AAU students, and it's provided by a clinical psychologist. It is completely confidential, and you can book an appointment to use the resources. Last but not least, where I want to place attention and discuss it here today, is the study abroad. Now, for a lot of you, actually, this is your second home. This is your study abroad experience, but it doesn't mean that it actually has to end here. With AAU, you can do a second study abroad. So technically, we do have partnerships with over 40 universities around the world with the framework Erasmus Mundus, the European framework, as well as with university exchange partnerships that we have reached agreements with. Now, depending on the subject or on the courses that you're studying, you can always choose a school that fits best your interest in terms of the location, but also in terms of the program, and you could choose to do a semester abroad there. To add to the resources, Clea will talk a little bit about the events that are actually offered at AAU.
So for the student events, we have events happening at AAU almost every week. The biggest ones happen a few times a semester or a year. However, there will always be something to interest you every single week of the semester. To start with, the very big and popular one is Professors in the Pub. It takes place in the student cafe where we pick a current topic, for example, populism, Me Too movement, trade wars, Brexit, post-corona politics, and we discuss it through the academic lens. This is an excellent way to speak your mind and hear other opinions, as well as to interact with professors in more relaxed environment. The picture which shows this event is the top right corner. To continue, Jetta has talked about the Career Center. The event organized by the Career Center is Career Expo. So every year, AU hosts Career Expo, which is one-day event where we invite companies to our campus, and all students and alumni are invited to participate to meet potential employers and learn about the labor and market trends. It also includes one-to-one CV consulting, speed interviewing and professional headshot booths, where you can take your professional picture for example, LinkedIn, or for your CV or resume that you will need after you finish your education. Another interesting one is moot court. So moot court is organized within the law school. However, it is open to all of our students, as every single event at AAU is. Participants take part in simulated court or arbitration proceedings through tackling real life cases. So basically, they take a case which already happened and they bring it back to life and interact between each other. This mainly helps and prepares you for building briefings as well as oral arguments. The MBA open lectures are organized within law school, are organized within the business school, and are ideal way to hear or meet speakers who have succeeded or failed in their ventures. So at AAU, we do not only teach you how to succeed, but also what to do when you fail, because that is very important to know in life when you finish education. Art exhibitions are organized throughout the semester with students and respected artists showcasing their work. Our courtyard actually has a different art piece by different artists every single semester or year. It changes dependingly, but there is always something nice to look at. Last one is our AAU ball. So in Czech Republic has a long tradition of organizing balls. Therefore, every March, AAU hosts the AAU Ball, where students can dress up and have fun. Last year, it was organized within premises of Prague Castle. However, the location tends to change from year to year. We strongly recommend to bring a gown or a suit. However, there are plenty of shops that rent them out around Prague, so you don't have to worry. To continue on to the student clubs and student council, at AAU, we have the current clubs that you can see on the screen. They tend to change again from semester to semester because you can make your own clubs. What you need for that is 3 members and approval from student council. We encourage students to go for it, and if there is something that you want to do, but we don't have a club for it, just talk to student council, find members, and you got yourself a club. Student council is elected through university-wide elections and represents the student body. They organize student events such as student parties and different activities that students are encouraged to join in. And the current student council can be seen on the middle bottom picture.
All right. Thank you, Clea, again for an overview of all the activities. So basically, just to give you an idea of the cost of living in Prague while you're studying over here. So a lot of European cities are actually great to visit. However, beyond a couple of days, they're not attainable and not affordable. Prague is actually not one of them. This is one of the top benefits when you get to study in the Czech Republic is the affordability. And not only when it comes to tuition, but also when it comes to the cost of living and other expenses. In total, you're looking at around between $800 to $1,000 per month, and that includes all the meals, accommodation, public transportation, as well as entertainment. Now, of course, this amount depends on the lifestyle that you actually have, because if you actually tend to cook at home most of your meals and who tend not to shop very often, as well as be outside, for example, in the parks, which are for free, then I know students who actually pull this monthly expenses for even less. Now, if your lifestyle is a bit different, it can go up, but the range is between these amounts. Housing, on the other hand, is typically between $500 per month in the student residences or in shared apartments. During the first year, we always recommend students to stay in dormitories, and you can use obviously the AAU residences because it will help you get settled and accustomed with the city and the new lifestyle. We'll talk about the housing later in detail, but this is just an overview. To back it up, you can always work, have a part-time job during your time, and it's a valid way to earn some cash. With a student visa, you may actually work for up to 20 hours per week during your time, and you can legit earn between $300 to $720 per month, and it just depends. Now, I just want to make it clear that actually there are so many international companies in the city where Czech language is not required. Therefore, even if you don't speak the language, you can get by very easily because most of the population in Prague, at least, they speak English, so it's easy. At least the basic English, it's covered. On top of that, you can also get a job on campus. So there are jobs available for students in the library, for example, marketing office, in the print center, reception cafe. And these jobs are always posted by the teams of operations team, usually prior to the start of the semester. So it will help you to actually get possible on the way to cover the expenses. When it comes to housing, so basically for the first year of the studies, as I said, we always recommend students to live in the AU dormitory. Again, while this is not mandatory, we found out in practice that it will give you time to settle down and to get acquainted with the city as well as with your classmates. So just to get you familiarized with everything. AU housing is actually located 20 minutes from the AU campus on foot, and it's only one tram ride away, so it's very close. It's in a neighborhood, in Czech it's called Holešovice, and it's actually, if you look up in the Guardian and in the newspapers, it was listed as one of the top coolest neighborhoods in Europe. It's very vibrant neighborhood, and it's very nice neighborhood. It's very close to AAU as well, so that's the added benefit. Again, you can choose between double and single rooms. Both options are available. However, the whole building actually has modern equipment. It has 24/7 security, so it's very safe in the surrounding area. It has Wi-Fi, and then you have also fully equipped kitchens, bed linen, laundry. So technically everything will be there provided. And of course, you can bring your own stuff here if you want, but the basics will be covered. Once again, the availability, it's for the fall semester or the spring semester, or you can decide if you decide to book it for the entire academic year. So it's all up to you. You just need to fill the online application form in the housing website under the AAU umbrella, where you show your interest, or you express your interest in reserving a place at the housing. To give you an overview of the deadlines, so the first installment for the housing, it's on May 20th. The second that's when you have to pay the first installment for the housing. The second installment, it includes the remaining, the 50% remaining, as well as the security deposit, and it's by July 20th. Now, we will talk about the semester starting dates just in a bit to cover it, but with the new semester dates and suppression of the semester to 12 weeks, the check-in will be available as of the 14th of September and onwards. This is actually when you get to meet Lucia in person as well. She will be meeting and greeting you. Therefore, I strongly recommend that you email her as well in advance for your planned date so that you could arrange your arrival. On the other hand, checkout could be arranged on individual basis as the residences have their reception, so it's easily done. But of course, it needs to be within the time that you've actually booked the apartment. Now, for those of you who are actually staying for the entire academic year, so for fall as well as for the spring, if you are interested in staying in Prague during, for example, the Christmas break or the spring break, Prague has one of the most magical Christmas markets, so highly recommend it. But on side to that, during the break, you do not have to move your stuff out and also you can stay in the residences. So that's possible. So no problem with that. When it comes to the refund, so in normal circumstances, we issue a refund only in cases when a student is rejected their visa or there is an issue that's an extraordinary situation beyond someone's control, basically. However, considering the current pandemics and the current COVID, refund will also be issued depending on the official government orders. So if there are travel restrictions where you cannot come to Prague, and of course, because this is beyond your control, the refund will be issued. One thing that I would like to actually mention is that the current capacity for the availability is 120 beds. Therefore, strongly recommend if you're interested to actually reserve your place as soon as possible, because then you know that it's secured and it's taken care of, and you do not need to worry for later. But for any questions, again, I strongly encourage you to actually email the housing office or use the Q&A feature, since Lucia is with us today. So you can ask her any questions that you have as well during the Q&A session, which actually will follow now. So this is the point where we will stop sharing our screen and we will switch for the first round of questions. I encourage you to use, again, the Q&A feature. We will answer live. We'll take a couple of minutes, and in case that your question does not get answered, we'll make sure to answer it at the end of the session for sure. So let me just stop sharing the screen. All right. I hear you can also see everyone.
Okay, so I see two
All right.
classes about online classes. This, as Jeta said, will be discussed in the second portion of the presentation. So we will answer those questions after the second portion. But for now, if anyone has any questions about life or housing, please ask them now so we can answer them.
See one question. Sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
There's one question about housing. Are there single rooms available? Yes, there are single rooms available right now.
So I see a question about recording. Hi, will it be possible to email me recording of the presentation, please? Yes, so this presentation is being filmed and we will be sending them out to students tomorrow or day after, right, Jeta?
Yes, so technically the presentation, as Clea said, is recorded. We'll just make sure that all the logistics are in place, but definitely by the end of the day on Wednesday, you'll get the recording of it, which means that you actually can visit the information at your own time. Yeah. So I see a question. Hi, Mohammed. So is it possible to get a diploma with honors? What about nostrification exams? And is the exchange free or the same AAU tuition? Will an international non-AAU student get a job offer? So first of all, is it possible to get a diploma with honors? Yes, it's possible. We do have students who actually have a GPA of 4.0, and on top of that, with a good GPA, actually with a GPA of 4.0, you would be also qualified for the merit-based scholarship. So this is one of the points that we actually, you as a student don't have to apply for it, but you get selected automatically. If your GPA for the prior, so you come to AAU for the first semester, and during the first semester, if your GPA is 4.0, for the upcoming semester, you would automatically be selected for the merit-based scholarship, and 100% of your tuition would be covered. If your GPA is 3.9, for example, it would be 50% the tuition. So work on that path. It's a great way. What about the nostrification exams? So nostrification is a required process for all of the students who actually study in Czech Republic, anywhere in any university. So when you arrive, technically, so now for the admission process, you're required to send the scans of your diploma. However, when you arrive, you are required to bring verified copies of your diploma and transcript. Clea and I will be sending you the specific details of every verification, because different country has different verification requirements. If you are from US, for example, you need to submit an apostille of your diploma and transcript. If you are from I don't know, Kosovo in this case, you need to submit a notarized copy. So it just depends on the country that you are from. So when you arrive, you submit those documents to the student services, and you can start the nostrification process. Now, nostrification process, it's basically verifying that your high school diploma is equivalent to the Czech system. Student services will be supporting you throughout this process, so I wouldn't worry about that. And there is two ways to get, like, you can decide to do the nostrification process for the high school diploma, or later on, if you decide to stay in the Czech Republic, you can also decide to do the nostrification process once you graduate. Is there an
That's actually,
exchange free? Sorry?
no, I just wanted to add to yours that is actually what we will talk also in the second portion, which I will go over what you said now. So if someone didn't understand exactly what Yeta say, I will repeat it once more in the presentation.
Yeah. And then is there an exchange fee, or is it the same as AAU tuition? So it's the same as the AAU tuition, as long as the university that you're actually choosing is within the partnerships that AAU has. So it's within the same tuition as with AAU technically. And will an international non-EU student get a job offer? Yes. Here, I'm the proof. So technically, yes, we have students actually from 80 countries all over the world. And majority of our students are from non-EU countries. And most of them actually do take part-time jobs. We don't recommend to take a part-time job or even a full-time job during the first year. However, from the second year, it's recommended and it's not a problem. There are so many potential like job availability. So it's not a problem as long as you fit the criteria, of course, and English will be a huge benefit advantage for you. In January 2020, the employability rate actually was 2%. Unemployment rate, sorry. The unemployment rate was 2%. So Czech Republic has the lowest unemployment rate within the European Union. It will be very easy to get around with it. So I hope that answers all of your questions, but I encourage, if anything was unclear, feel free to message us and we'll be happy to answer.
And then I see a question about loans. Maybe Natalia, you know more about that. Maybe you could clarify.
So Claudia, I see you're asking when the U.S. student federal loans will be available. We actually are stopping with our service at the moment of providing loans, and we're putting it off until fall of 2021, just due to the pandemic and our resources are needed elsewhere. So we're shooting for fall of 2021. So hopefully that'll work for you.
Thank you,
I see another question about the purpose of the winter semester. So basically, the main semesters are fall and spring. However, in between of those, you have winter and summer semesters. So those are not required. You don't have to take them. However, for some students, they don't want to take 5 classes per semester. So they take 4 in main semester and then 1 in spring and 1 in summer to make up so they can still finish on time. Other students, on the other hand, would like to finish sooner. So what they do is they take 5 in one semester, 1 in spring or summer, and then continue 5 and then 1. So that way they can actually finish sooner than planned. However, you can usually take 1 to 2 classes in these semesters because they're compressed. You at AAU usually have classes once a week in normal semester. However, when you have winter and summer classes, you have classes 3 to 4 times a week, and it's only that 1 or 2 classes that you are taking, and that way you finish within 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And I can jump to the next one. What's the relevant date to move in Prague? So technically the semester with the adjustment, we will cover that in the upcoming session now, but the semester will start on September 21st and will end in December 16th. This is done because there is a lot of students who actually can arrive here on a 90-day tourist visa. Therefore, it will ease the path of those of the students coming here. If you are from a country that actually can do that, technically, you can arrive any day before. So any day basically that it's within that 90 days. So technically, when we counted the dates, it's September 18th, the earliest that you could arrive in Prague. However, we just need to define basically the country as well as to count the day so that it fulfills that 90 days. However, in normal circumstances, again, it's recommended to arrive prior to the orientation. All right.
Next one is housing. So maybe Lucia, if you could take over that one.
We cannot hear Lucia.
Yes.
Yeah.
For housing. Hi, Kia. Nice to see the question for housing. Well, there might not be the rooms available after June 20th. Depends on availability. We have 120 beds at the moment, and the deadline, as was already mentioned, for the second payment was June the 20th. So there might be rooms available, but we can't guarantee that after this date.
I see one about language barrier in Prague from Khalil. So you said you stayed here and struggled to interact with people in Prague. Do you guys have a basic Czech language course? So as few of us have mentioned already, it is actually, the longer you stay in Prague, the easier it is for you to interact, because you will recognize who speaks English and who doesn't. So you know who to interact with. But in the city center and most of the closer center neighborhoods, people speak English and you can interact with everyone. If you live a little bit further away, sometimes you might hit a barrier, but there will always be someone around you who will see that you are struggling with the person and they will jump in and help you. So that way you will always try and, you know, resolve whatever issues you're having, or the message you want to get across, someone will help you. If we have language courses, yes, we do. However, it depends which school you fall under. So the language courses are meant mostly for international relations students. However, if you are a student from any other program, you can talk to your assistant dean or dean and tell them that you would really like to take a language course. And that way they will help you and they will arrange your schedule so you can take it, for example, as elective. So yes, there is a possibility. And yes, we have Czech language courses amongst others.
Just to add to Clea, maybe it would be helpful from the personal experience as well. I actually don't speak any Czech. So for me, the beginning was actually a little bit hard, but it's as anywhere actually you'd go in a country where you don't speak the language. What was very helpful is that I actually learned some basic few phrases that, for example, when I enter the shop where I can say, can you help me? Or the very basic ones. That has helped me a lot. And then people tend to get like really nicer in that way. And they actually help you and are very generous when it comes to this. So I wouldn't worry. It's an experience in itself for the language. And it's really nice. Okay, so I see a question. What are the, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that I see many questions about visa coming in and about fees. So maybe we can just do one more and then continue with the visa stuff so we can answer those later.
Absolutely.
I see one about what do I have to do to join a club. So basically, nada, hi. What you have to do is at the beginning of semester, the clubs usually present themselves. So they select one day and then say they send out email that they're going to be usually at the student lounge presenting their clubs. So what you can do is just go there, talk to them, see what they're offering. And then if you like it, you can join them. If you don't, you can make your own club, as I said. But mostly if you cannot make it to that, you can always email them. Their emails are available online and you can always email the club and arrange a meeting with them.
I see, so because I just want to make sure we cover all the housing since we still have Lucia here. So there is one, what are the best neighborhoods in Prague to look for apartments? There is not such a thing as safe neighborhoods or best neighborhoods. Yes, there is, for example, Vinohrady in Prague too and Náměstí Míru, which are great to live in. However, Prague in general, it's a very safe city. So wherever you're actually living, it's very safe. And what you have to actually look when you're looking for an apartment is that it has a good connection. So either that be bus transportation, metro, or tram. Metro is always recommended because it takes you from one corner of the city to the other. But that's what I would actually place my focus. There are neighborhoods that have great facilities around. It's great to live in. Like 4 of us here live in 4 different districts, and usually it's no problem. Okay. And then I saw down there's more housing. Lucia, would you be able to?
Sure, absolutely. There is one here. Hello, will cost of housing raise? So we don't expect the cost of housing to raise at the moment. Basically, it has already raised, and at the moment, the prices, if you decide to live in a private apartment, it will probably even go down, and with our dorms, it's gonna stay the same for the moment.
Okay. Yeah. So visa questions, I see a lot, but let's, so Clea is going to do a full session now afterwards of the visa, and you'll get most of the answers in there. And if anything is left unanswered, we will go back and answer those. But I see Baba Tunda, hi. What if we resume till next year for the fall semester and we've paid a hostel deposit for the first semester? What do we do? So do you mean like you've paid for the housing with AAU housing, most likely? So Lucia, maybe that would be for you.
I just can't see the question. Sorry. Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Hey, just to make sure, do you recommend to pay housing as soon as possible? From Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Even if we are not sure yet whether we will be able to arrive to Prague on time, yes, we recommend to pay for the housing for now to make sure that you have your stays. And if you decide not to come or to move to online classes, you can always ask for the refund for the circumstances because of the COVID, for example, or you can move to spring, but you need to decide better by the end of May for now, in this case.
Thank you. So technically that answers Babatunda's question as well.
Yeah,
okay.
And one more question related to housing. Do all AAU students live in the same housing? Yes, all of the AAU students live in the same housing if the housing was requested by us, right? They all live by Zeitram in Holešovice in the cozy place, which was just introduced in the previous part.
Yeah. Okay. And I see there's a lot of questions about, again, visa orientation will also be covered. So I just see Sierra. Sierra, yes. So Sierra is asking whether the session will be recorded and posted later. Yes, so we will send you the recording definitely latest by Wednesday. So don't worry about that. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us anytime and we can do a session together. Okay. Visa.
Most of them are for visa, so I think we can jump back into the presentation just to cover those.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah. So as we announced, Clea will now give an overview of the COVID-19 updates, basically how we're handling the situation, how we did handle it for the spring semester, and how we're planning to actually handle it for the fall 2020. It will include detailed information about the classes, about the orientation, the visa process, and the documents that you need to submit. Gather your questions in there, and once Clea finishes that, we'll go back again and we'll answer your questions one by one again. Thank you. All right. I'll just, yeah.
Takes a little bit of time. Okay, so to start with important COVID-19 updates, with the outbreak of COVID-19 and government's order to close schools and universities at the beginning of March 2020, AAU has closed the campus for students. Therefore, we switched to fully online teaching. So on the left side of the presentation, you can see what we are doing currently for our current students. We have launched a virtual classroom system. Basically means that we have online classes for our current students. We shifted the midterm break. We did this to give us extra time to do any troubleshooting or training for the faculty that's necessary to move everything online. We moved the required internship course seminars online, meaning the students would still go through the workshops and everything necessary for internship course. and we moved all services that AAU has to offer, which are career center, student services, psychological counseling services, and all events that could be moved online. We also assembled a student support squad made up of staff and faculty members. And this squad provides students extra support, and they do weekly check-ins with students that are having troubles with online classes or have any questions concerning the COVID-19. Lastly, AAU is following all directives from Czech government regarding testing, quarantine, and notification, and we will continue to do so until it's necessary. So now, important facts for you. So what are we and what will we do for fall 2020 semester? Two most important things that you were emailed in advance. So all of you should have received the email about the updates. First of all is that we are offering online virtual classes, and we are adjusting the fall 2020 semester start date. So for the online classes for fall 2020, AAU will offer online virtual classes, which will maintain a personalized approach and accommodate those of you who are unable to begin face-to-face instruction. The asynchronous classes will be offered at various time slots, and they will allow students living in different time zones to choose the best classes for them. For local students who are able to arrive and are not affected by travel restrictions, AAU will resume face-to-face instruction. And we have to keep in mind that if it is in accordance with government and health regulations, we have no problems in resuming face-to-face classes. So by offering online classes, we're not saying that you have to start the online classes. This is only the option for you if you're unable to arrive because either you have visa restrictions or you cannot arrive because of traveling restrictions. So our plan is to offer both, and this way we can help all of you, and all of you can start semester in time, either online or in person. The second point that we have is we are adjusting the fall semester. So AAU has decided to delay the start of fall 2020 semester. We have shortened it to 12 weeks. However, this does not mean that you will learn less. It only means that sometimes on Fridays you will have one class more. Usually at AAU we don't have classes on Friday at all, maybe few law classes, but apart from that, Fridays are free. So with having those classes that you technically missed by us moving the semester, you will make them up on Fridays. The classes will run from September 21st until December 16th. So we only postponed the beginning. The end of classes will still remain the same. And students who are coming from the states whose citizens are exempt from visa requirements for travel to the Schengen area, which is the European area, especially citizens from countries listed in the email that was sent to you, will not be required to obtain a study visa to attend AAU for fall 2020 semester. Basically what this means is if you are a citizen of one of those countries which are listed in the email, you can arrive on 90-day tourist visa and you can finish your first semester on that tourist visa. So you do not have to apply for study visa in advance. However, please keep in mind that you will have to obtain the visa eventually. So what you can do, if you are on the list of those countries, you actually can apply for visa from within the European Union. You can apply at any Czech embassy in the world, so you do not have to apply in your home country. You can actually apply from Europe. You cannot apply in Czech Republic, it's just the rules. You cannot get Czech visa in Czech Republic, but you can apply in neighboring countries. We always suggest to do it in Vienna or in Austria or Germany, but I will go in more detail about the visa when we get to the visa section. For spring 2021 semester, we intend to continue as planned. However, should the situation not improve and the movement is still restricted, AAU is ready and prepared to offer online classes for spring 2021 semester as well. As for the tuition refund, we will issue it, as Jetta said already, in cases when student visa is rejected or situation beyond your control. In current situation, it is hard to obtain visa or travel to Czech Republic, and that is why we are offering online classes, and that is why also we have compressed the fall semester. So our students do not have to worry and stress over not joining us on time. Other options which you have, and which is the last point, is postponing your studies or canceling your studies. So to postpone your studies, it means that you can choose whichever semester to postpone to. So if you were accepted to fall 2020 semester, you can choose to postpone to spring 2021, for example. This way, your tuition fees that you have already paid, for example, will be moved to that semester that you postponed to. So you will not lose them. The only important factor here is that you let us know on time, so before the semester starts. If you choose to cancel your studies, please keep in mind that we refund only in cases when visa is rejected or situation beyond students' control. For postponing also, there is still a lot of time to postpone. Therefore, we recommend making your decision in August. You can technically register for classes and choose to postpone after that. And then if you choose to postpone, you can simply drop the classes. You don't have to worry about that. So to our next slide, which is the next steps to take for you, you have to pay tuition, so complete tuition payment, register for classes, submit your final diploma and transcript, start the visa process, and complete the orientation. So for the tuition payment, all of you have received the email with the invoice and instructions on how to complete the payment. The next step in the process basically is for you to pay the first semester's tuition. Many students ask if they have to pay for the whole year. No, you have to pay for the semester, first semester only, to be able to register for classes. So to register for classes, what you have to do, registration will open on May 4th. So when that date hits, what you need to do is you need to contact your assistant dean, and they will help you choose the best classes for you. So our students usually contact them via email, the first year students, and they exchange few emails and choose the best classes for for our students. Keep in mind that you cannot register if you did not pay the tuition payment. So you will have to pay the tuition first in order to be able to register for classes. And a reminder about registration for classes will be sent to you this week. You already received this email, however, we send reminders when the registration date approaches. So please keep an eye on your emails as well. And another important thing to know about registration is the longer you wait, the fewer spaces will be left in the class. So we will always do our best to offer our students classes they want. However, it is best and very recommended from our side to start registration process as soon as it opens, because many students have already made up their minds and they will register on time, which will leave less space for those who register later on. Next step would be to collect your diploma and transcript. So for those of you who did not complete their high school or bachelor studies yet, high school for students who are applying for a bachelor program, and bachelor diploma for the students who are applying for master's program. Those of you who will be receiving your high school or bachelor diploma in June or July, please make sure to send us a scan of your diploma via email. It is very important to bear in mind that you will not be allowed to start your classes without sending the diploma. This is very important to keep in mind. You have to submit your final diploma and final transcript to us in order to continue your studies. Yeta has already mentioned the notification, which is basically submitting the verified documents. Once you arrive at AAU, you will also need to submit to Student Services your verified diploma and transcript. Each of you will receive an email explaining the type of verification that is needed. So for example, for students coming from the United States, you must submit apostille diploma and transcript. This is very important, and if you have any questions, please email us or ask in the Q&A section. Now on to the visa. So under normal circumstances, all of you who are citizens of countries outside of Schengen zone, European zone, must apply for study visa. The visa is obtained at Czech embassy or consulate in the country of your origin. With your acceptance letter, you have also received an email with detailed instructions on which documents are needed to submit for visa application. Also, from experience, we recommend to apply as early as possible since the visa process itself takes 60 days and delays are not uncommon. With the current pandemic situation in the Czech Republic, Czech government has suspended the visa process. This means that you cannot apply for visa at the moment. No one can submit their application anywhere in the world. It will depend on how the situation unfolds and when the visa process will be resumed. However, we will keep you posted and updated on this topic. Depending again on the situation, there are several tentative scenarios in place. So first of all, which would be ideal, would be for government to resume the visa process. If this happens, and we hope this will happen soon, you will be able to apply for visa as usual as planned and as we have instructed in the email about visa details. The second option would be if you're a citizen of a country in the list which can come with 90-day visa waiver, you can come with tourist visa and apply for student visa from embassy in Vienna, Berlin, or Warsaw. So I slightly touched on this before. If you are a student from a country which was listed in that email that was sent to you, you can apply for visa within European Union. Please keep in mind, very important, that you cannot apply for visa in your home country and then pick it up in the country, for example, Vienna or in Austria or in Germany. You have to pick the visa up at the same embassy that you applied to. So if you apply in Vienna, in Austria, you have to pick it up there. If you apply in your home country, you have to pick up the visa in your home country. So this is a very important step. However, for you, it is much easier because you can start your studies on tourist visa, arrive here in person if traveling allows you, and you can basically then make appointments in Vienna. I keep mentioning Vienna. It can be whichever Czech embassy, but Vienna is the closest one and most popular amongst our students. So you have to make the appointment there. We recommend doing so as soon as Czech government allows to apply for visas again, and then simply arrive to Czech Republic, go through visa process in Vienna, and then pick it up again in Vienna, Berlin, or Warsaw, or any other European city. For those of you who are unfortunately not on that list, so students who need visa but are not on the list of countries which can come on 90-day tourist visa. For you, the best option would be to start attending online classes and arrive in spring. Also, this applies to students who cannot arrive because of traveling restrictions. You can be European, you don't need visa, but you cannot physically come in because your government will not let you travel out of your country, for example. So for you, it will be best to attend online classes for the first semester and then arrive in spring. Now, before coronavirus even started, we already had this option. We offered this option to students that had visa problems and couldn't arrive on time. So many of them went through it and they have successfully finished the first semester online and then just joined us in person in spring. So until February, they had a lot of time to complete their visa process and arrive in person. They were not lacking in any way. Many students ask if will I be behind on my studies? Will I miss out on anything? No. Only thing you're missing out on is being face-to-face. Other than that, everything will basically remain the same and you can just continue your studies as usual. Last part is the orientation. So this year we're planning to offer the online orientation. It will be interactive session filled with useful information for student card called ISIC, message from deans or assistant deans, student council, and others. For students who are arriving physically in campus, there will be another orientation session to complement with online sessions, and it will be focused on tour of campus, library, and computer lab. The date is not set yet. However, it will be announced to you via email or a Facebook group. Mentioning the Facebook group, most of you or all of you have received Facebook group for admitted students invitation. Now, I know that all of you are checking your emails regularly. However, on Facebook group, I post about updates and deadlines and all different kinds of interesting facts that might be useful for you. So that if you join that group, it is a private group. It is for students only admitted students for the first semester. And there, it will be an additional reminder for you to not forget our deadlines. So to continue on to our next slide, we have another Q&A session now. So Jetta, if you would.
Yeah, so we will switch to another Q&A session technically. So we will answer the questions that we actually received from your end. We will start from the, sorry, my camera. So we will start from the first question that was actually answered, asked, and then we'll go one by one. And again, once we wrap up this session, again, we'll stick around so that we could answer anything that you might have. So we'll start with Andrew's question. Hello, is it possible to study remotely online? Yes, it is possible. So as Clea mentioned, the fall semester will be actually offered online. Therefore, for students who have travel restrictions and who have visa issues, the classes will be online, will be offered to you at your own convenience. Therefore, please do not worry. The plan is also, so the way how the Czech government is seeing is that everything will go back to normal by then. Also for the spring semester, the plan is that everything is planned as normal. So the semester is scheduled and everything will take place physically. However, if there are unforeseen circumstances that will continue to happen, there is a plan to have spring session classes online as well. This way, you could continue your path that you actually started with the fall classes without any interruption. So that's for the online classes.
Olivia. Hi, Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
So about visa arrangements from the UK, also are they study abroad students still able to access dorms like everyone else? To start with the second question, because that one is easier to answer, yes. So our study abroad students can apply for dorms and housing as our normal degree seeking students. And then for the UK, now with UK, we have slight problems because even before we technically are not yet informed by the government how it will work. So we sadly, because of Brexit, we do not know if you fall under European or if you fall under the visa seeking student. For now, you're still considered European. So for now, as of today, you do not need visa. However, keep in mind, because you're from UK, that might change. But since we have compressed the semester, you can actually arrive on tourist visa. So it would be best for you to call when it's possible any Czech embassy closest to you and just ask what would be the procedure for United Kingdom.
Okay. Thank you for this session, and I would like to ask you about the scholarship. So yes, Farok. So technically, AAU offers the merit-based scholarship. Now, because we have students from 80 countries all over the world, we do not offer a scholarship at the point of entry. However, during your first semester of classes, you'll be taking 5 classes on average. And if you're if you receive straight A's and your GPA is 4.0, you'll be qualified automatically for the merit-based scholarship. You do not need to apply for it. Student services and finance will calculate it and will inform you about that. There is a fund, the merit-based fund that is collected from tuition, and until the fund is depleted, the scholarship will be distributed to the student. So even if you have a GPA of 3.9, if the fund is still there, you'll receive a 50% discount on your tuition. So the merit-based scholarship, and then there are other also benefits. For example, it's Bring a Friend campaign. There is it's the alumni scholarship, for example, for later once you graduate from AAU, if you decide to actually purchase, follow your studies on the master studies. So there is a wide option. I would strongly recommend if you go in our website under the admission sections, there is a tuition and fees, and then there's a section on the financial assistance, and you can see a detailed overview in there. Thank you.
I see a follow-up question about UK. So it is from anonymous attendee, and basically the first portion I answered. The second one is also, will I be able to work in Prague without a student visa with my EU passport? So I myself am European, I am Croatian, and I can work in Czech Republic without any other problems. So yes, as European citizen, you can work in Czech Republic without having any visa. Only thing you need to do is to tell the foreign police that you are here and that you're living here. Other than that, you have no restrictions because you're within Schengen zone, and it is kind of cool that we can travel around and just work without any restrictions.
Yeah, and then there is a question from Ben. Hi, Ben. I'll just reread it for everyone. So if we are not able to get visas for the first semester, how will we go back to the spring semester? As far as I know, it is not possible to get a visa while we are in the Czech Republic. So you're correct. You cannot obtain a visa while you are in the Czech Republic. That's why students who come in the Czech Republic, as soon as they arrive, they are recommended and they must apply for a study visa in any Czech embassy outside of the Czech Republic. So it could either be Vienna, it could be Berlin, Warsaw of Italy, any embassy that is at your convenience, basically outside of the Czech soil. So this is how the plan is. So once you arrive, you would apply in any neighboring countries. However, if that's not a possibility, you could always just attend classes online. And once your embassy is open in your home country, you could apply from your own home country and then continue your studies upon obtaining the visa and arriving campus.
Yeah. Next question I see from Gary. Hi, Gary. I know you're an MBA student. So actually this session was made for degree seeking students, which are of other programs. But for MBA questions, it would be best to ask Michaela. She is MBA coordinator. If you need her email, if you're not in contact with her yet, please email admissions@auni.edu, and I will forward your email to her. So if you have any questions regarding COVID-19 updates for MBA students, because your study plan is very different from the degree seeking students, so it would be best by Michaela to help you answer that.
Mm-hmm. And so, sorry guys, it's sort of like a repetition, but we just want to make sure that we answer every question that's actually asked. So it's nice to have the repetition at the end of the day. So so the question is, also you said that if we have problems with the visa, we can study online. Can we study all fall semester only online? So as I said, the fall, for sure, you can study online should you have a visa problem or movement restrictions. However, again, spring semester, it's planned to intended to continue as per usual in normal circumstances. But if the situation continues and the visa process does not start, sessions will be online available as well during the spring session. Do not worry.
Yeah.
Do I need to take? Yeah.
Go on. Go on, it's fine.
Okay. Do I need to take a placement test for a language course? So students are required to take a placement test upon arrival. So all admitted students, once you arrive, basically, there's two placement tests. There's a math placement test for those of you who are, for example, in the School of Business, and then there's the English language placement test for those for all of the other schools. Even English native speakers are required to take, because it's sort of a measurement. So it's not the measurement of your knowledge technically, but it's a measurement of where to actually place you in which, for example, the English language, in which academic writing class you would be placed in this case. So that's the purpose of it. It does not require any preparation prior. It's just general, for example, for the math one, it's a general high school knowledge which you've obtained during your high school years.
Yes, so even if you fail that exam, placement test, it doesn't mean that you cannot start your studies. It just means if you fail, you will be placed into the easiest, the beginners, let's say, group for the students. So this is not any entrance exam to the university. All of you have already been admitted, which means that you passed your admission process up to this point, and then all that comes after that cannot basically cancel your studies, only if you do not submit your diploma and transcript. Please keep that in mind. You have to submit those. It's required by the law. So if you fail submitting those, your studies might be compromised. To continue, since I'm already talking, from Anonymous, when will be orientation week? So as I said, there is no date set yet. However, we're counting for it to be a week prior to the beginning of the studies, or actually the Friday prior to the beginning of the studies. Nothing is confirmed yet. I'm just putting that out, but we will keep you informed. I will post on it on Facebook. You will receive an email about the orientation day.
Mm-hmm. And then I have a question from Marielle. May I know more specific details about the online classes? So basically the online classes will be asynchronous online classes where you could attend at your own convenient time, because we have students from around the globe. So it's difficult to have everyone basically, but it will be interactive. We will maintain the same approach, personalized approach as with the physical classes. So the number of students again will be between 15 to 20, 25 students maximum. However, here I would just like to point it out once again that the registration for classes will be on the 4th of May, so technically next week. So I would recommend to discuss this with your assistant dean of the school or the program that you've actually been admitted to, and they will be able to give you all the details when it comes to the classes and academic side of the programs.
The next one I see is, do you know when will embassy open? Because the university sent requests in the end of March, and we are waiting for answers. So I'm guessing that I'm speaking to someone from Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan, because those are the only two countries we sent out the data box for visa appointments, because it's required by the law. So basically what happened is that everything froze. If your application, it was sent, you received the confirmation from us. However, everything froze. So basically they're not working at the moment. They're not processing applications. They are not issuing visas. They're not making appointments. What the government is saying in the news is that the state of emergency will last till the end of this month. So there's 3 more days. So we really hope that after these 3 days, we will receive more information on what is happening with the visa process. Because yes, if the state of emergency stops, it doesn't mean that the visa will resume, sadly, but we're hoping that it will, the visa process at least, and somewhere beginning of May, we hope that we will have more information to give you. But for now, as I said, everything is frozen. You basically...
Clea? All right, it seems like we've lost Clea, but that's okay. Just to follow up on that, so the Czech Republic is actually, that's okay. So I'm just following up on your answer. So the situation, honestly, it seems very promising. I was just checking the number of cases for today, and there is only 4 cases that are recorded of the new cases that have tested positive. So it's actually going toward a very positive path, and it like already there are easing the measures that are in place. Therefore, it looks very promising, and it looks that it's going toward that everything will be more convenient for everyone. So we will just continue to monitor the current situation. We will definitely keep you posted on how everything will work out. But so far, considering where we are, it looks promising.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick up another question. Will AAU come and pick me up when I arrive at the Prague airport, or do I need to come by myself at the campus or dorm? So yes, so in this case, AAU does not pick you up from the airport. However, we will send you tons of information before arrival. You'll receive guides, instructions, basically how to get from the airport to the dormitory, detailed explanation. You'll receive the map. And also like tips on how to pick up a taxi or how to choose an Uber. So you'll receive all of this information prior of your arrival. And of course, in case that you have any questions or anything, you'll also have the phone numbers to contact, and you'll be fully equipped on that. Also, I just remember this. There's also from the airport, there is like connecting buses that connect you to the metro stations. So it's very easy if you want to use public transportation. Thank you. Okay, so it seems that we have a housing. Yeah, so we'll leave it to Lucka.
Okay, for the anonymous, if we have if we having a room reserved, can we wait to pay until the overall situation becomes clear? Yes, you can wait until the situation becomes clear. We definitely count with that option.
Next question I see is from a master's student, anonymous. So can master's students join clubs? Yes, of course. You are same student as a bachelor student. All of our bachelor or master's students can use AAU resources the same way. So you can make, again, your own clubs if you want, but you can join the already existing ones as well.
Thank you. So, hi, Asel. When the course registration for fall semester will begin? It will begin next week on May 4th. It will be open. Just a tip for everyone. So we will send a reminder about that, and in the instructions, you are supposed to contact your assistant dean. So, for example, if you are an international relations student, you will contact Mr. Wimmer. For School of Business, Mrs. Kachakina, and for School of Visual Arts and Communication, Alžbeta, whereas for humanities, Mrs. Vanova. And for law, if we have any law students, we recommend contacting Mrs. Brown. Just in case, so make sure when you contact your assistant dean, make sure you put your student ID on top or on the subject of the email. It actually helps because like everyone on May 4th will be emailing them. So just for your understanding, just to be a little bit patient and like a couple of days, maybe it will take like 2 or 3 days to get the response. That's okay. Also, they will be able to identify you based on your student ID. Your student ID is a 10-digit number, and it can be found on your acceptance letter on the top left corner of the acceptance letter, and it starts with a 2020 onwards, basically. If you're not sure where your student ID is or where to find, send Clea or me an email, and we will send that to you, no problem at all.
Mm-hmm. I see next question from Aim. Hi, Aim. Hello, what if I already paid deposit for housing? Does that mean that I will have an available room for me? For example, I would like to live in a single room. So I think that's for Lutka.
Yes, of course. Your room is booked, but please make sure that all your payments are proceeded prior to arrival. Otherwise, you can't be accommodated. But yes, your room is booked at the moment. And if you'd like to live in a single room, if you haven't mentioned it in the registration form, please send me an email to housing@aau.uni.edu, and I'll get back to you regarding that.
And I see the next one from Zibek. Hi, Zibek. Is also for you.
Yeah. How will we choose our neighbors? We have the compatibility test, and the compatibility test link will be sent to you pretty soon, and you can mark your interests, whether you're a smoker, non-smoker, introvert, extrovert, etc. And after that, we try to match the people together as well as possible.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you fill that compatibility test correctly with the answer so that you're best matched with your peers. All right, so I see AU was granted WASC accreditation in June 2016 for a period of 6 years through 22, sorry. Well, we still have 2 diplomas. So you're correct. However, we don't issue 2 diplomas. We issue 1 diploma. So in 1 diploma, you'd get both the accreditations. And the answer about this is yes. So in spring 2020, in this spring, we had the midterm auditing report that we submitted to WASC, and it went perfectly well. Basically, there was no actual feedback on improving anything. So technically, we plan just extending the accreditation for the upcoming period. So it's absolutely fine.
So next one, I see, can I shift my study period from fall semester to spring semester next year if I have visa restrictions instead of taking online classes, or is spring semester going to offer online classes? So yes, both options are available to you. So you can, as I said, it's called postponing to shift the studies. So you can postpone your studies. However, we would recommend doing deciding in August, just because there is still some time between now and August and many things can happen. So yes, you can postpone definitely your studies. All you need to do is email either me or Yeta or admissions@aauni.edu and say, because of visa restrictions, I would like to postpone my studies. What happens then is that we postpone your studies, you receive a new student ID, and your tuition fund payment is moved to that new semester and that new ID that you have. If you mentioned also online classes. So if you really do not want to start the online classes, this will give you enough time until February 2021 to complete your visa process. But same would happen if you take the online classes. So if you take the online classes, you would finish one semester online and then just continue in person when you arrive in spring. But if you don't feel really comfortable with online classes and you prefer to have classes in person, of course, there's no problem with postponing.
And I think that also answers the second question from Kia as well. So it says, let me rephrase, can I give the payment for spring semester only at the deadline for spring semester payment if I'm going to postpone? So that answers basically the question as early as possible. So yeah, so Mohammed, děkuji for the answers. A little bit of check in there, thank you. We know that the dates changed. Should we get a new acceptance letter with the new semester dates or keep the older one? In this case, the old one is okay because it includes, it's issued from August 25, as far as I recall, August 25th, and it covers all the periods. So, and usually the Ministry of the Interior, in this case, if they have any doubts or any questions, they usually email us at the admissions office, and we respond obviously to all emails. And also the data is public on the website. So it's either that they email us or they check our website, and information is everywhere available. So there's no worries about that.
So for the visa letter, just to add also, the date which we issued it, the whole visa letter is basically in Czech. The confirmation of studies is in Czech, and you most of you received it by DHL. What you have to keep an eye on is the date. So if 180 days have passed from the date that we have issued it, then it's not valid anymore, and we will have to send you a new one. If it's still valid within those 180 days, then it's still usable, so they can use it. However, with the current situation, please just email us. We work from home though, but we will go to office if it's necessary, and we will send the letter to you.
And just one more thing, Clea, to clarify it here, because from the experience, so we've, for example, if you've received the visa letter for the fall semester, however, if you're not applying for the fall, but you're actually applying for the spring, do not use that same letter, because the first sentence of the letter, it's in Czech, but it actually says that we hereby confirm that you are admitted for the fall semester. So we need to actually switch that to the spring semester, and that's a very important detail. So just make sure that you are in touch with us. We will guide you through the process, and we will issue you a new letter along with the new student ID, obviously. And I see a question, do we need to submit our diploma and transcript online? If not, what do we do? So to avoid any costs that would be on your end, we actually decided not to request that you submit your diploma and transcript by regular mail. So we agreed that we would accept the scans of the diploma and the transcript. So if you have graduated from high school, you should have already submitted the diploma. However, if you're still on the path towards graduation and you will receive your diploma either in June, July, make sure that as soon as you receive it, you send it to admissions via scan. Once you arrive in campus at the day of the orientation or during your first week at AAU, make sure that you bring the hard copy of the verified diploma, so of the diploma and the transcript. We will send you the details on what kind of a verification you will need. As we said, different countries have different verifications required. So if you are, for example, and it's important, it's not the verification required, it's not from where you are from, but it's technically where you completed your high school. So it's the city and the country of your high school graduation place. So if you are from US and if you're graduated from school in Czech Republic, it's different rules if you have graduated in a school in the United States. So we will send you all the details, and if anything is unclear, Claire and I will explain and go through the process of it together, so don't worry about that. But for
And
now, please just make sure, sorry, yeah,
no,
just please
I
make
just
sure that you
mentioned that.
actually send the scan, yeah, the scan.
If you're a master's
Mm-hmm.
student, since Yetta mentioned bachelor's only, then we will need your bachelor's diploma and bachelor transcript. And then we will only need a scan of the high school diploma because that one doesn't need to be verified for your master's studies. It's only the bachelor study. So that's only if you're a master's student. If you're a high school, bachelor student, then high school diploma and transcript will be required from you.
So I see, must we apply for a 90-day tourist visa? If so, how? So 90-day visa, technically it's, so if you are a US citizen, it's automatically granted to you with a visa waiver program. So you do not need to apply for the visa. The same is valid for the other countries that were listed in the list of countries in the email that we sent last Wednesday. Just make sure you go through that list, see if your citizenship or citizen of the country of origin is listed in there. And in case that you have any doubts about the process on how to apply, email us and we will help you with that. But in general, you should not be applying for that. All right, so we have another question. As the UK is leaving the EU, will I need a visa to study abroad? So I think Claire answered that question earlier. Current situation is uncertain. So we technically, you should not be applying for a visa at this point in time. However, the information could change on daily basis, technically.
So next question is from Anonymous. So Americans, oh, it moved. So Americans are able to apply for visa in Vienna, but it also has to be picked up in Vienna. Does this apply to visa renewals as well? So for the visa, for the study visa, where you apply, you have to pick your visa there. So yes, you can apply from Europe, you can apply from Vienna, and you will have to pick it up there. So they have 60 days from the moment you have the appointment. They have 60 days to make a decision. And then after those 60 days, they will inform you and tell you that your decision is ready and your visa was, accepted or denied. And basically, then you have to go to Vienna if you receive the visa to pick it up. Now, for the second one, does this apply to visa renewals as well? So no, visa renewals can be done from Czech Republic. And as Yetta already mentioned, our student services help you with that. So our student services staff, Jana and Josef, you just go to them, you ask them to call the ministry and they will make the appointment for you and they will explain what you need to do basically to extend your visa.
Yeah, and just to add on top of that, recently, a year and a half ago, actually, the Ministry of Interior implemented the reservation system online. So now, even if you don't speak Czech and if you don't have anyone available around you, you can also make the reservation online as well. It's a straight up process. You just fill what type of a visa you're actually going to extend. So the purpose, you have different time slots from where to choose or what time to choose that best fits you, and you can book it online. So it's very easy. Okay.
Next one is from Farouk. If we can send him the email about the countries, again, of course, I will make a note. We will send you the email after this session. So the email with the countries and the basically the plan for 2020.
And also, Katerina, can I send the list of countries? How can I find the list of countries? We will send you once again the email, no problem. But it's also on the website, guys, if you want to check it on your own convenience. So if you go under the admissions page on the website, there is a special tab under the admissions section. It's called COVID-19. So if you click on the COVID-19, you'll be able to see the whole plan for the future, and there is also the link where you can click and you can find the list of countries if you want to have it available now, for example. And then we have another question from Anna. Good evening. When will the registration for classes for fall 2021 be closed? Thank you. So technically the registration starts on May 4th and it actually continues until the beginning of classes. So you could register for any point in time during this period. So from May 4th until the beginning of classes. However, we strongly recommend that you register for the classes as soon as possible once the registration is open. What happens is that classes fill up pretty fast. And there is like limited places in the sections and classes. Now, of course, we will open a new section for the class, but it's important that you register as early as possible. Because if there's like if a section is full, and then if there is only 1 or 2 students that are actually interested for the class, a section cannot be open for 1 or 2 students. So you actually have to play around with your timetable and study plan, and you might not get in the class that you actually wanted for that specific semester.
Just to add to that, basically the registration for the whole school lasts until May 22nd. So yes, you can, as Yeta said, you can register until the semester begins, but until 22nd of May, you will not be charged any additional fees. If you register after 22nd of May, you will be paying for late registration fee. So this fee will be charged to you. So just please keep that in mind as well. If you register late, you're paying the fee and there will be less classes for you to choose from. That is why we encourage strongly to register as soon as possible.
And just one more thing, always as a tip, always check the academic calendar. Academic calendar is published on the website and it's a great source of information when it comes to the deadlines and the important things that are actually happening in terms of the academic aspect of the program. So it's a very useful tool. It will be, of course, given you during the orientation, but even now, just go and check it. One more tip here is the timetable. The timetable for the fall 2021 is also published on the website. So if you go on the website, you will be able to see the list of courses that are actually proposed for the fall 2020. This way, even from now, you can start creating an idea on what classes will be available to you and have a glimpse of the whole semester as an overview. This is just like your research homework from today. Yeah.
So from Andrew, how the final exams are going on if the study process will be online. So basically this will depend on class which you're taking. However, as Yep already mentioned, we will be sending you, or when you will be registering for classes, you will receive more information then from the assistant deans, as we are not the people who will actually register you for the classes. So our tip is when you're registering for classes, ask any questions you might have about those classes, ask them to assistant dean or dean, and they will be able to help you more here.
Mm-hmm. And then I think this is for Lucy.
Will housing dates remain the same even though the semester dates has changed? Well, a good question. Thank you for that. We have been discussing that and we should have the answer by our president's collegium, hopefully this latest next week. So please keep in touch, and we are always available on housing at aau.edu to get back to you regarding this as soon as possible.
So
okay, thank you, Lucy. Okay, so we have another question. And how will the lectures be going on? Will it be available as a record on the web or will it be live? So again, please consult with your assistant deans when it comes to the structure of the online classes, but definitely there will be a recording that will be sent to the student so that you could access it to your own convenience. But for the details, strongly recommend talk to your assistant dean and they'll be able to guide you.
So next one is from Seth, and it is if you're planning on taking classes for the fall and coming in person for the spring, would you wait till spring to look at housing? So it will depend on what kind of housing you're searching for. If you are searching for a personal apartment, you can always start searching. Maybe someone will need a roommate. If you're looking for renting our housing, then I think Lucka is here to answer that.
Definitely, yeah. We are always happy to help you. So if you have any specific question, just get back to us anytime. The reservation forms are opened, so you can choose whatever you like. And if you have any specific questions, just get back to us directly.
Okay.
So Nicole, hi Nicole. Thanks for the previous email. Answer, sorry, I'm in emails constantly. Thanks for previous answer. How do we know who to contact for registration for classes when it's open? So as I said, I will send you, or yes, or I, one of us, we will send you an email with all the information, who you need to contact, when and how. You can also find it in one of the emails which you received after you were admitted. So it is called, I think, registration for courses instructions, the email. It is there. If you need to know it, as soon as possible, then you can always email us at admissions@aauuniv.edu. But as I said, this week we will be sending out detailed instructions on how to register and who to contact.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another question. Oh, it's for housing. So Lucia, you might want to take over.
Hello. I'm really sorry, but my internet cut down when I answered. No, sorry.
It's actually the one up from Marielle. Yeah.
If online, hello, Marielle. If online classes need to be followed, and if the student arrives in spring, do we get a refund for the housing deposit, or will it just be moved to be used for the next semester? It will be moved to be used for the next semester. If you have any further questions, just get back to us. Thank you.
Okay, so hi, my internet cut out and answered your question. Whether a student coming from the UK needs a visa, could you possibly answer? First of all, Olivia, you do not need to apologize. We're here to answer any questions that you have. And in case that we don't manage, we can always arrange an individual Zoom call over between Clea, you and me, and we can go through the process together. And this is available for everyone who's here, so feel free to shoot us an email. Again, so because of the current Brexit situation, we haven't received any new updates from the Czech government whether the visa will be required or not. As of today, as of this moment, you do not need a visa. However, things have been changing on a daily basis. Therefore, please stay in touch with us. And if there is anything new that changes, we will let you know. But as of this moment, you do not need a visa to study in the Czech Republic. And also, I know that you asked earlier whether you could work with that visa. So yes, you could also work as a technically EU citizen.
Mm-hmm. Next one is again from Nicole. So if we start online, how will we obtain the study materials, if necessary, books, for example? So there is a system that AE uses called NEO system. And all of your grades or all of your assignments and all the materials that you need for that class will be uploaded there. So usually, we have a library and you can access all the books there for free. You don't have to pay for the books, you just rent them out. But many professors, even face-to-face, they still upload the materials to NEO. The same way it will happen with online classes. So you will be able to access all the materials online without any problems.
Yeah, and just to add on top of that, to your question, Nicole, even when you arrive physically in the campus, technically you do not need to buy any books. It could be like that you have to buy a book on extraordinary situations, but usually all the books and materials are available for free to students in the library. So when you come, you just go to the library, you just show your transcript or your Isaac card, one of those identifying items, and you could borrow the book for use. You can borrow the books that are concerning your studies, but also there are books that you could use for your leisure time. If there is a book that you actually need and it's concerning your studies and it's not available in the library, you could ask from your dean's office and they will request it on your behalf with the library. So this is a great resource and it honestly saves so much money when it comes to the cost of living and the expenses that you have as a student in Prague. Clay also mentioned earlier, the AAU library is actually it's actually the first library that hosts the largest collection of English books in Prague. So it's a great resource.
For university.
Okay. For university, yeah.
Yes. For Ethan, we have a question. If I transit to England from the US before I reach the Schengen area, will the time count against my 60-day visa? So for now, what we are informed and what we know, England is still considered regarding visa as if it was a European country. Therefore, we would say yes. So once you touch down in England, 90 days will start counting down. For everyone else, since we didn't mention this, basically it doesn't matter where you land in Europe. If it's in Schengen area, if it's Germany, if it's Ireland, if it's Denmark, the 90 days that you have on your visa will start counting down from that moment. As soon as you receive a stamp in your passport, you are in Schengen zone and your 90 days are counting down. So it doesn't matter that you're not in Czech Republic yet. If you decide to have a week holiday in, I don't know, Germany or Switzerland is not, Germany or France, for example, then those 90 days will start counting from that moment.
Thank you, Clea. I have previously studied Russian in high school. Will I be able to start in Russian 2 instead of Russian 1? I am an international relations major. Yes, that's a possibility that you could take Russian 2 instead of Russian 1. You'd have to do a placement test basically to measure the level of the knowledge basically, and then you could move on to Russian 2. And we also offer languages in German, Spanish, Czech, of course, and on top of my mind, Russian. Yeah, and then is there somewhere online when we can see the courses for the schools before registration opens? So yes, there is the online timetable where you could see actually the list of all the courses that are offered during the fall semester. I'll just walk you through it a little bit. So if you go on the AAU website, on the upper corner of the website, there is actually looking at the website to be as more precise as possible, but on the upper corner, there is a section that says for students. So, and it's on the first left corner of the website. It says for students. Click on the for students, and then just in the middle of the page, there are 4 boxes, and it says e-learning, academic calendar, timetables, and AAU Net. The timetable for the list of classes is in the timetable section. You click there and then you choose the respective semester and you'll be able to see the list of courses that are offered for the fall 2021 semester.
So from Anonymous, we have another visa question. I have sent in my visa application not knowing if they were still taking the applications. And they send me my things back with the letter saying the Czech Republic would not accept any more applications until April 30th, 2020, unless the Czech government had amended otherwise. Do any of you know if the Czech government will extend state of emergency? So as we said, our information for now is that it's until end of the month, so April 30th. So after that we will know if it will be prolonged or not. For now, we do not know. However, it will be in 3 days. All of us are following news and are keeping informed so we can give you the information once there are some changes.
And there's a housing question regarding the roommates, Lucia, so we'll leave that to you.
You are muted, Lucka.
Okay.
Just
so can you hear us?
No, I can't hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Something
okay,
wrong.
so
Let
we
me
can
connect
come
it again. Sorry, I'm sorry for
no
any
worries.
inconvenience.
No worries. So we'll come to Christina's question just in a little bit once Lucka connects back.
Okay, yeah.
Andrew, I found that I did not receive the letter on Wednesday. Yes, we will make a note. We will send you the letter immediately after the session or even tomorrow.
Yeah. If anyone else
Okay.
needs the letter again, could you please email us at admissions@auni.edu and we will just send you the email. Again, I'm making notes of everyone who wants it now, but if there are more of you, it would also be good to email us there.
Okay, and then I see another question. Hi, would you recommend applying for the global study program, which is mentioned in your website? I was told that there's no student yet for the program, but I have already applied. Strongly recommend it. It's a great website. It's a great program, actually. So this is the first year that we started with a program. It's in a partnership with the Kent State University in Ohio. So technically, the way that it works is that you'd complete the first 2 years in Prague and then the second 2 years at Kent State in the United States. It's a perfect blending. So Prague technically will have more like liberal arts courses. So you'd have the general education covered in Prague. And then once you'd go in the States, you'd have more like technical courses that would orient you toward the computer sciences program. I strongly recommend applying for, you're admitted, so I strongly recommend following that path because it's going to be very rewarding and it has great resources within the program. Now, even if there is like only one person, it's not a problem because you can always blend with people from other schools, so it's not a problem. But if you have any questions or anything, let us know and we'll be able to guide you through that.
Next question. I see. My home country, Myanmar, does not issue any visa, and it is also not in the following countries that you mentioned before. What should I do? So in this case, I think it would be best for you to start with online classes, and then once the Czech Republic allows for visa process to resume, you can then apply to a Czech embassy and apply for visa. Basically, you will finish your first semester online, and then once you receive the visa, you will join us in person.
Mohammed, so the question is, it would be nice if you could let us know about the 14-day quarantine. Will we have to stay somewhere for 14 days after the arrival in the Czech Republic? Thank you. As of now, technically, students, people who actually come in the Czech Republic, they have to stay on a 14-day quarantine, but it's not that you'd have to go to a specific facility. So you are technically required to be quarantined in your own house and follow the rules. However, because I saw in some countries that they actually have the facilities where you'd have to go and complete the quarantine period. It would be your home, basically, from the comfort of your home, but hoping until September, this is not going to be an issue again. So let's see how it goes, and we'll be able to cover the uncertainty. Just to add more to that, like currently for the current students, our Student Services Center, Lucia, because she's actually been in touch a lot with the students who are living in our dormitories, the Dean of Students, everyone is in touch with the students who are here because not everyone went back home. So like there is a community around you and you will have support when it comes to anything like this, basically. So we talk on daily basis with the students, and they actually feel pretty safe. And I would strongly recommend also, if you want to get in touch with current students, that's a great way to actually learn more about the university and the life that actually happens around here.
So I see some more questions from Tim and Nada. So Tim is asking, does AU accept transfer credits? Yes. Basically what you need to do is you need to tell us if you didn't apply as transferring students, you need to tell us that you wish to transfer some credits so we can just change your status in the system. And then we will need an original from your current university, original transcript. And then when the registration period opens, you will consult with the assistant dean or dean of the school that you're applying to, and they will let you know how many courses you can transfer to AAU. We are not promising that all of them will transfer. We're transferring maximum 45 US credits for bachelor students. and this means that you can shorten your studies by 1.5 years. However, as I said, it's not guaranteed that you will get all the credits transferred. The assistant dean will decide, or the dean, they will decide on this. And then second question from Nada, the last one. How many courses can we have in one semester? So what is recommended to finish in the time frame of your studies is 5 classes per semester. However, if for the first semester, we definitely recommend 5. However, if you want to finish sooner, as I said, you can always take one more class during the winter or summer course semesters. And if your GPA is high and your dean allows it, you can even take 6 classes per semester from the second semester onwards. However, this will have to be discussed with your assistant dean and dean, and they will have to approve this because it will be a lot of workload. If you wish to have less than 5 classes, that is possible as well. You don't have to worry. Some of our students work and they only take, for example, 3 classes a semester. However, again, you will have to talk to your assistant dean or dean, and they will help you select as many classes as you wish or as you are capable of taking.
Mm-hmm. And I see another question from Andrew. When will the winter exams go on? I'm saying about the accurate date. Thanks. So the academic calendar, the new one, it's going to be posted on the website hopefully by the end of this week. The semester, it's planned to finish on December 16th. And usually the exam period, so it's 1 week prior to this. So it starts, I'm looking at the calendar right now, so it should be technically starting between the 9th of December till the 16th. However, for the specific accurate dates, as soon as the academic calendar is published, we will definitely let you know and get in touch about that. And then there is also a question from Nada, can I get a visa not for a semester, but a full year? Thank you for answering. Yes, absolutely. So when you apply for the visa, you can apply either for a 6-month visa or for a 1-year visa. So when you fill the application, you'll have that possibility in there. Therefore, you can apply for this with no problems. At the end, it would be up to the Ministry of Interior Affairs, whether they will issue it for a 6 months or 1 year. But usually when students applies for 1 year, it's issued for a period of 1 year.
And the last question I see here is from Anonymous. How do charge for winter and summer semesters if you only take 4 courses in the fall and 1 in the winter? Are there additional fees? What if you take 5 courses in fall and then another in winter? So basically for your first semester, you have to pay for 5 classes. However, if you choose to drop any and you only end up with 4, you will be paying only for 4. So for that 5th class, we will either reimburse you, which can be done at Bursar's office, which is finance office at AAU at Student Services, or you can take that money and move it to your next semester. So let's say you take 5 classes for the fall and then you want 1 class for winter. So in the winter semester, you will have to pay for that 1 class only. All of our prices about classes and semesters can be found at on our website under tuition. However, the price goes from how many classes you take. So you don't have to pay for 5 classes and you're only taking 3 and then we will keep the rest of the money. No, that money will either be returned to you or move to your next semester for classes which you select then.
Thank you. And then there is 2 questions. So Lucia, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yeah,
okay.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Good. Super.
Okay.
We have Nicole here. Hi, Nicole. Will we get to know who our roommates are prior to meeting them in person? Unfortunately, you don't know your roommates in advance because of the GDPR to secure your personal data. We can't do that in advance due to this law in the Czech Republic, but you always fill in the compatibility test to be together in the room with somebody who has the similar interests and priorities and so on. So we always try to do our best to put you together to be happy because we imagine that you spend a lot of time together.
So just to add up to Lucy's question, because I see that not everyone here is actually from the EU. So last year, the European Union adopted the GDPR law when it comes to the privacy. So technically the data of a student or anyone technically cannot be shared with another party under no circumstances. So this is why we cannot share the information about the like the name of the other person who will be living with you, unless, Lucia, I'm just going to double check with you now. If you have the consent from the both parties, actually, will you be able to do it then, or
Yeah, we
no?
do it this way. We do it this
Okay.
way. We have the concern. It's kind of complicated. For every single tiny thing, we need to know that this person agrees with giving information to the third side.
Yeah, so technically, as soon as it's confirmed by the both parties, then yes.
Definitely.
So, and then, thank you. And then, so I see from like, we will try to wrap up the session because it's already been going for 2 hours. I hope, truly, we hope that this has been helpful for you. And we really appreciate that you actually took the time to sit down with us and for any questions that you actually had. So I saw there is a question. I'm also a bit nervous regarding my choice. I'm really fond of the IR. I know that non-EU students will be able to get a job, albeit I don't know if my choice major is suitable for that. In this case, I would strongly actually recommend if you talk to a current student from the IR field. But Clea actually finished her MA studies in IR. So maybe, Clea, you could give us a little bit of your student perspective as well.
So yes, I am actually a European citizen, but I went to class with many students who were not. And trust me, all of them have jobs. Some of them are working still in European Union. Some of them have chosen to go back to their home countries and continue doing work there. Now, for the fields of work where they work, it differs. It honestly differs what you're interested in. It differs which direction you want to go in, but bachelor's program here for international relations is constructed in a way that you can choose which direction you want to go in. So basically the dean and assistant dean, they will help you navigate you to the direction you want to go in. And then once you receive your diploma, literally have had no one I went to school with who has problems with finding education, either back home or here in Prague or Europe. And we also had classes with bachelor's. Electives are mixed with bachelor students and master students. Just the requirement of work is a little bit different. For master students, is obviously more. So I know many bachelor students for international relations as well, and most of them have continued onto the master program in international relations, and they're working at the same time. Again, I don't think you will have any problems because international relations is one of the programs that is pretty popular right now, and there are always job opportunities for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And again, if you have any do you want to receive feedback, we can connect you with IR students. So just send us an email and we'll match you with current students who could give their feedback. I see there is like 2 last questions coming. How will the entrance exams, the placement tests work for online courses? So it will be online, definitely. We have spring students actually who completed their online questions, online exams in the spring semester. So it would work the same way, but for details, you would be receiving them from the dean's offices. And the last question is about in-depth class descriptions available for the course listed in the timetable. There is a detailed descriptions on the website. It's a little bit maybe difficult to navigate it, but we can send you the link on where to look. And then there is a description of the classes. Just send us an email because here I only see anonymous attendee, and we'll be able to send you all the details on where to find it. Thank you. So just as a wrap up, basically, so we will be around for like 2 more minutes to answer any last questions that might come around. But I just want to highlight that if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to message the admissions office at admissions@aauni.edu. And then if you have any specific questions that was left unanswered about the housing, please email Lucia, either in her personal email, like the AAU email, or at housing@aauni.edu. Make sure to follow us on social media. We do have a Facebook and Instagram account, and I'm really excited. We also recently have a TikTok account as well. So, and today we posted our first video, so you could follow us on TikTok as well. But Instagram actually has like very frequent updates on daily basis, so it's a great source of information as well. So let me just check, is there any last questions? You're welcome, Nicole. We really appreciate that you actually sticked around for a session of 2 hours. We understand it's a lot of information, it's a lot of detail, but actually taking the time, sitting down, going through everything, we both felt that this is the best way to communicate. And again, Clea and I are available for online sessions via Zoom, or any platform, as a matter of fact. Feel free to shoot us a message, and we honestly very wish to meet you in person, some of you that we haven't met in campus, hopefully in September, hopefully not through online platforms, but if that's the case, then we'll meet in spring. And I just see one more thing.
And Sierra, I see it too.
That's Sierra's question, yeah.
That's my field, the merch. So yes, we have AU merchandise. There are sweatshirts, shirts, and other things. We can definitely send it to you, but keep in mind that you will pay more for shipping than you will for the actual sweatshirt. So what we recommend is actually not for us to ship it in advance, but to have it ready here for you. If you want, I can reserve it for you. I can keep it on site, although we have many of different sizes and colors, but still it would be better for you to reserve it. And then once you arrive, I can give you the sweatshirt and you can pay for it here. It will be much easier.
All right, do we have anything else? Yeah, do not stress. We're here for any support. Let us know. And yeah, so I'll
email
just
us, we're here.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon, guys.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Bye.
Bye. Be safe, everyone. Thank you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.